All right. Well, Mayor McManus, welcome to politics. Welcome to Mayor's Monday here for WSAU and WSAU.com. Office looks pretty empty, yet here you're still getting settled in, I presume, here with your new position in Marshfield.
Yeah, well, it's very interesting. I don't have a lot here in this office. It's a beautiful, it's way up on the 7th story, so it's got a beautiful view. But we're going to be moving in, just 2 months across the street to a smaller facility, one that'll be a lot easier to manage, a little bit. It'll be definitely fiscally better for us. It's a lot to upkeep this building, so we're looking forward to that. So this is all still very new.
Very new and very temporary then.
Very temporary.
But you yourself not going to be, well, somewhat temporary. You have a 2-year term and you're a couple months into that right now. So believe it or not, you probably already have to start thinking about campaigning again coming up here shortly. But you've already gotten a few of the things that you campaigned on already in the hopper. You already got the wheels moving on those.
Yeah, what's been very interesting is there's a government moves at its own pace. And I've got a banking and business background. Business goes very swift, and you need to make good, sound decisions. And government just goes very slow. A lot of talented people here, that's for sure. But when I campaigned, I didn't have any political experience at all. So I just came in, new to this. I saw some things that, in my opinion, needed to be adjusted. And I put those out in the campaign. One of the things, public safety is the biggest thing for me, is that the citizens have to be safe. And there were a couple of glaring things going on. For instance, in our fire department, in my belief, we were understaffed. We were supposed to have 11 people on shift at any one time. And many times, due to people being sick, family leave and such, there were only 8 people on shift. Well, now they just did this great thing with the hospital where they're doing a lot of transfers, and they're doing transfers literally all over the state several times a week. So, out of those 8 people, 2 would go take a client or a patient from, the hospital to Chicago, Janesville, Milwaukee, all over, be gone for several hours. Well, that leaves you with 6. And then if they go out on a rescue from there, typically 3 people go out on a rescue. That leaves you with 3 people. So that's just substandard, in my opinion. So our fire chief, Scott Owen, great guy, phenomenal chief. He's worked together with the hospital. We got a good contract going with them. And this is going to afford us the opportunity to look at bringing on more personnel that could be stationed, in essence, probably right out of the hospital. So there's a chance there that we could get some good north end coverage and get some relief and get fully staffed. So I'm very excited about that from the fire department point of view and our EMS. EMS is very important to me because I was paramedic in my early 20s for 7 years. Because I was overworked, burned out, and it was an occupation that I loved, but I burned out. So when I see the amount of overtime that these people have to do, I know what that does. So I think we're going to get that resolved. And if we get that resolved, I think we're going to have resolution to that in the next 30 to 40 days. I'll be very happy with that. The other issue is the police radios. During the campaign, as I was talking to the police officers, they were, they'd be in different parts of the city, and they couldn't, they'd radio in and nobody can hear them. Well, that is a public safety hazard, not only for that officer that's calling for help and can't get help, but also for the citizens that he's protecting. So we've got something in the works now where we're taking a look at the solution to that, and actually be brought up at the next council meeting on how we're going to fund those radios that they need. So I'm very excited about that. The other thing, of course, is our roads. That was a big thing for me during the campaign. We currently do about $1.9 million worth of road repair every year. This year, North Central Avenue was slated to be done. The state was going to do that because here in Marshfield, a lot of people think that, we call it Central Avenue. It's actually State 97. Mm-hmm. So that's a state road that the state takes care of, and they're supposed to keep up. That road, for just north of Quick Trip all the way down to Harrison, is not in good shape at all. It's just not. There's potholes everywhere. It's bad. Well, that was supposed to be done. We get a call about the third week in May. Now, it was supposed to be started in June. Just saying that due to cost overruns, we went over budget a little bit. We're not going to do it. We're going to do it next year. Well, that makes no sense to me at all. You can't, in business, you can't just call up and say, a vendor can't just call up and say, sorry, we're going to do it next year. Because we as a city, in anticipation that the road was going to get done, we're changing our gas lines. So we already had it ripped up. And then they call and say, basically what happened was they didn't put their bid out until the first week of May. Well, realistically, by the first week of May, all the road crews in Wisconsin are booked. So that's why they only got one bid back that was substantially higher. So we went round and round with that, and it will definitely get done next year, and they will bid it out in the proper time. But one of the things that I really wanted to do, and our great Public Works Director, Dan Kneck, what I've really been happy about in becoming mayor is to see how many brilliant people actually work for this city. And Dan Kneck is one of them. And I sat down with him because I wanted accountability. I wanted to see what roads are going to be done for the next 5 years. And my opinion is we got to get that out to the citizens. We need to create a website so that the citizens can see when these roads are going to be done. So I get this sheet from Dan, who we met together, and he has actually a 10-year layout of the sheets. So, we started discussing, and he says, to go out 5 years is going to be too much because there's a lot of things that change. If there's a big tornado, or of course, just a couple days ago, we got 6 inches of rain here overnight. That changes things, right? So he said going out 5 years is too much. So what he is doing, he and Tom Turchi, they are creating this website that's going to give a 3-year plan of exactly what streets are going to be done for the next 3 years so that our citizens can see what is going to be done. I'm very, very excited about that because then they will be able to report on that if there's a pothole or there's something going on, and they can see what is taking place. They'll be part of the discussion, which I think is huge. I've got a lot of great feedback. Dan has promised me that by September 1st. So I have every faith in him that it'll be done by then. Another big thing that we have to work on here in the city is, of course, communication. We have to do better as a local government, communicating with the citizens, because a lot of people are just unaware of things going on. So we're looking at ways that we can communicate with them better, and because we need that public, we need the public input. I think there for a while, and no one to blame, but I don't know that there was a good communication dynamic between City Hall and the public, and I really want to make that better. So I'm going out to as many public events as I possibly can, and I'm encouraging our aldermen to do the same, so that the public can come talk to us and figure out what's going on. One of the biggest things that I was told when I was mayor is, are you sure you want to do that? People are going to complain and this and that. And I heard that just over and over and over.
Right.
And, what's interesting is I have had that. I've had people come up and complain. But what I found is if you listen to people for 2 to 3 minutes and you let them vent or voice their concern, after 2 to 3 minutes, they're done. And just listening to them. I can't tell you how many times after listening to them for 3, 4, or 5 minutes, they'll turn around and say, oh, I'm so sorry, and they're fine. They just want to be heard. And so we've got to find that right way to communicate with our citizens. And we're working on that. That's going to take some time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially for you being a part-time mayor, you've got a life to maintain outside of City Hall, outside of, the 10, 12 hours a week or so that you're here in this office. So
right.
It's really hard for you to get back to everybody that wants to say, hey, we've got an issue going on over here. This road needs to be fixed. When are you going to get around to this? And obviously that's a lot to handle.
Well, it is, but this gets back to the fact of it took me a little while to learn all the staff, because what I've been able to do, and it's such a great staff, and Steve Barger, city administrators, absolutely brilliant. When people send me stuff right away. I always acknowledge it immediately that I'm going to get resolution to this, and then I'm going to put them in touch with the person that can actually get the problem solved. And so I'm really able to utilize all of the workers here, because I'm not micromanaging what they do. We've got brilliant people in the spots that need to be due. They don't need somebody micromanaging it. But what's very interesting is I hear this all the time. Wow, I can't believe he got back to me. What's interesting is, I've got email, and I've got email on my phone. So even on the weekends, I'll get some emails from people, and I'll send it back right away and send them a quick text message. It takes 2 minutes. It's not a big thing, but it's good communication.
Yeah, and I'm sure the people of Marshfield are absolutely ecstatic to be getting that kind of communication and feel like they're part of the dialogue, because of course without the good people here in Marshfield, what do you have in the city? It's just a big hospital, right?
Yeah, right. Well, it's interesting, because I had one gentleman that sent me a letter, and it was a well put together letter on a few different items that he had. And the day I got it, I called him up. And this letter he did on a typewriter, so
oh, wow.
I knew that he, it was a lot of fun. So I called him back. When I called him back, he said, "Wait, now who are you?" And I says, "I'm Bob McManus. I'm the mayor, and I got your letter, and I'd like to go over your concerns with you." And he's like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe that you did that. Thank you so much." And I said, "Well, how about if we go through your concerns?" He's like, No, you're way too busy." He's like, "I can't believe you took the time to call me. Thank you." And that was it. And I still looked into his concerns, but that's a big thing. People need to be heard. They really do. And I think there are so many incredible people here in Marshfield. I really think our brighter days are ahead.
Mm-hmm. And one reason for that, and it just came out this week actually, Governor Scott Walker's office announcing that there's some state aid coming into Marshfield to help one company in particular expand their operations here in the old Forward Financial Bank building.
Sure.
And anytime you're going to get 30 or so good paying jobs coming into a town at one time, you're doing something right.
Absolutely. And our former mayor, Chris Meyer, I have to give a lot of credit to him. He laid good groundwork. And Nelson Jameson, they're expanded. They did expand. They've got the whole second floor at the Forward building. And they're expanding, and they're doing very, very well. PCA, they're getting all built up, and they're getting ready to go. Our unemployment rate here is down very, very low, and we're looking for some recreational thing, but we're very excited about Nelson Jameson and their expansion. I think that's a big thing. It's a big thing for the city. As you said, anytime these businesses, we're finding so many businesses are expanding. That's a great, the businesses are expanding because they're great businesses. There's no doubt about that. But the city needs to be able to keep up with them, to support them, so that they can continue to expand. So all of the credit, for those business expansion goes to those businesses. Mm-hmm. And we as the city want to be able to support their expansion.
And one more before we let you go, because obviously you mentioned growing the city. You can't do that without housing stock. I know this is one thing that your predecessor, Mr. Meyer, kind of hammered home, and he said it was one of his projects. He wants good housing stock, and he wants affordable housing stock as well. Have you had a chance to look into that yet? Do you have any ideas on how you might, look at that over the next few months?
We're in the process right now. Now, I've got a real estate background, mortgage lending background, so this is right in my wheelhouse. And if you talk to any local real estate agents right now, if a property comes on the market today, it's got multiple offers in 2 days. There is a shortage of housing. There's a shortage of affordable housing. Right now we have, I think, 240 units going up of apartments within the city. I think that's going to help a little bit. But at the clinic, there's over 500 jobs available right now, and those people need housing. So we're looking at different ways to attract developers for subdivisions. Right now we have only 70 lots that are actually available right now in the city of Marshfield to build on. Now, that's 70 lots that are available. How many of those lots are actually buildable? That's a different story. So we have to look at that, and we have to get it, because with this lack of inventory, what that is going to do, it's going to drive the prices higher. which is great for sellers. Interest rates, they've gone up about 1% from last year at this time. And right now the housing just continues to go, and it's because the market is, it's a seller's market right now. So we do have to find a way, and we're looking at a few different options to build more homes that are affordable to help fill those needs.
Anything else that you'd like to add then before we let you go, Mr. Mayor?
Nope. I think that's one other thing. Can I just one more thing?
Go right
The other
ahead.
thing that we're doing is our great economic development party or economic development board is putting together. We're trying to come up with a vision for the city, because there's been a lot of things done. Let's do this over here and let's do this over here. One of the things that I'm really committed on this term here is we need to create the vision of the city. Where does it see it? And we had a Roger Brooks study done a couple of years ago, and it says, as your downtown goes, so does your city. So we're just got approved to do a study on the 2nd Street corridor to see what we can do in that corridor, to attract people to the downtown so that they will come down there, they'll enjoy their time, maybe they'll get some food, some attractions. So we're looking at that. We're going to start there. We're also looking at, pool issue. Our pool is old and we've got to get that taken care of. So my hopes is that in this 2-year term that we can really create that vision, because right now we just don't have one. We've done studies and we've had ideas, but right now definitely what I'm going to focus on, and aside from my big four, is we need to get that vision. But here's the thing. The vision is going to be of this, what the citizens want in Marshfield. It's not going to be my vision. It's not going to be the councils. It's not going to be the EDBs. It will be all of us and the citizens. We need the collaboration, positive and negative, to get everybody's point of view. And I think at the end of the day, we will have a great vision. Then we'll start putting in a timeline for implementation. I really think I can get that done.
Well, we wish you all the best with that, and we'll look forward to following the progress of that as well over the next few months. Again, Mayor Bob, we appreciate the time. Look forward to maybe chatting again in a couple of months.
Great. You're always welcome.
We'll be here.